Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. Today I want to give you an updated hair routine, how I style my hair, and kind of give you an insight of what I do on an everyday basis, how I make sure I have lovely curls every single day, and also how I preserve them and make them look exactly like this for like 4 or 5 days without using an obsessive amount of hairspray or heat. So I hope that you're going to enjoy a video like that, and then I will say let's just jump right in. Okay, so usually I have my hair in some sort of a bun when I'm at home, and I've just washed it. I have not styled it at all. This is how my hair naturally looks. And I'm always trying to use like a silk scrunchie or something that's really soft on your hair. And what you will need for my entire tutorial is a hairbrush. I'm always using a tangle teaser. I just find that most convenient. Then, of course, a straightener, which is what we're gonna create our curls with. And I have set mine to 180 degrees. It's not a special one, it's literally one that I got years and years ago, so yeah. Also, a hair clip is very important, and this one as well is just a super old one, but you can use whatever you have. And styling wise, what we're also going to need is first of all a heat protecting spray. I'm just using this one. This is from the drugstore as well. It's super affordable, but I'm going to leave some recommendations linked down below because I'm always switching it up when it comes to that. And then also just some hairspray. I'm always using the L'Oreal Elnett hairspray. I'm using the pink one, which is Intense Volume, and I love that one. I swear by that. No hairspray has ever worked that well on me, so I always use it and I always come back to it. So I'm gonna start by using the heat protecting spray and just spray my hair with it. And make sure that it's getting everywhere, especially like in the ends, which is what I think is most important when it comes to heat protection. Oh, I always hate when it goes everywhere. But we're just gonna brush through our hair now. And as you can see, like my hair is getting quite wet from it, which is good because that way I know that I've used enough product and that it can work. So I'm just gonna brush through that and make sure everything is untangled, there are no knots and anything. So as you will see, I do have a bit of like a color difference at the top. I don't think it's too bad, but I definitely do need to get to the hairdresser. But for those of you asking, I always just get highlights done. I never really color my hair. I used to do that once in school and I'm never ever going back that route. So I would just be way too like cautious of doing it myself, but I always go to the salon and just ask for subtle highlights, and sometimes they do it very subtle and sometimes it's a bit more obvious. It always depends on the person you're getting, but I honestly don't mind it because I'm naturally blonde. It's just that my blonde is a lot darker, which is why in comparison it kind of looks like I'm having roots, but yeah, it's just highlights, so yeah. But I'm gonna start by separating my hair in two parts, as you see, and then I'm just gonna take my fingers and go like right above my ears and then taking back all of the hair that is on top of that, just like that. And then I'm just gonna take it and create like a little bun, and that's gonna go at the back of my head. And then I'm just taking a little clip like this one and just pin it, just so that it's out of the way. And then I'm just taking my tangle teaser again and again brushing through the rest of the hair that is left. So that's like my first layer that I do. Now it's time for my straightener, and I have two techniques that I've kind of combined over the years. So one is the one that I've always used, which is what we're going to start out with. So we're going to take just a piece of hair, set our straightener right on top of the head, and then just rotate it, pull it, rotate it again, and kind of keep rotating it while going down. And there you have it. You could pick it up, and I used to always pin that against the head, but I found some way easier and more time efficient ways of making sure that my curls were going to stay for days and days. Usually my curls last me around like 4 days, so I'm going to show you how I do that in the end. But it's really easy, and it's literally going to blow your mind of how easy it is. So then I'm taking a second piece of hair, and now I'm going to show you the second technique, because I always like to alternate the way that the curls go. So I like the first one to go outwards, like away from my face, and then the second one the other way around, and then I'm just gonna alternate for the base layer to give it more volume. So the second technique is something that I've seen on Freddy's channel, and she just always takes her straightener underneath the hair, then takes one piece of hair going through and then just pulling that down, and that's gonna create like a more sleek curl or something that is more defined, like it's gonna be really bouncy. Because now that we're at the end, we're going to rotate it up. And we're just going to hold it here for a second, and that is going to ensure that the curl is going to be like super bouncy and super scrunchy. So yeah, it's going to look shorter than this one, but I promise in the end the result is just going to look 100 times better because it's going to be very natural. So as you see, this is way shorter now, but it's perfect like that, so we're going to leave it. And then I'm just going to go ahead and repeat that all over again. Now I'm going to use my first technique again, which is going to be this one, where we just rotate it away from our face. You can keep rotating. Sometimes I like always to also like do it up like this one. I don't know if it really does a difference or not, but that's how I always do it. And then you're just gonna pull that out, and we have a very beautiful curl. It's like really subtle. It goes down kind of straight, and then like the curls just at the end. But that's how it's gonna look very natural in the end. So I'm just gonna show you one more time with the different technique. So taking a string of hair, going under and then through, and then just pull it away from the face. I'm gonna leave her tutorial link down below as well, because I think she kind of explained that more in detail, but I think you're kind of getting the hang of it because it's really not that hard. It's literally so easy, and yeah, I just like how like bouncy that gets, and at the end we'll have the most beautiful like Hollywood soft curls. But I don't want to look too extreme, like I still want them to look natural, so I'm always alternating, and now again away from the face. Picking that one up, just making sure that while it cools, I'm picking it up again. So now you can already see the difference between my curled side and my non-curled side, and now you know why I always curl my hair. So I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So I'm taking a piece of hair, and then I'm just going to start with my normal method, which is just going to rotate away from the face, and then just pulling that, and always keep rotating a bit. I think that just looks so pretty. So there we have it. I just love this, like, it's so pretty, and I love how every curl just turns out a bit different if you do it like that, because it's just gonna look very natural and like not like you're trying too hard. So I really like it. So now I'm taking the Freddy method again, going underneath and through, and then just pulling it downwards, and then just rotating it up, holding it here for a second, and then we're gonna drop the curl. And you just see how much like more curly that gets. Yeah, it's just way more bouncy, but that's perfect. So we're gonna take another piece of hair, and now we're gonna curl away from the face again. And drop it. So I think I'm gonna speed this up now because I think you're getting the hang of it. Okay, so that is the first layer of hair done, and now I'm getting back to the top half of my head, taking the clip out, and now I'm just literally going around my roots with my fingers, like on my forehead, and then taking it back so that I really just have my top hair. So now comes the middle part of the hair, which is going to be our biggest section, and I'm just going to show you what I do right here. So now that I have my hair like that, I'm going to put all my curls back and then separate the top half and put it in front. And of course also brushing this one out again because it's just been in a bun, and we want to make sure that it's looking all nice and sleek and it's not tangled in any way. And then again I'm taking my straightener, and like I did before, the first section is always going to go away from the face. So I'm going to take my straightener and I'm just going to do like the same thing as I did before. I'm just rotating it. Just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the Freddy method again, but I'm going to make way bigger sections now because I don't want them to be like as defined as hers. I want them to be a bit more loose. So I'm going to do that again. But I can already tell you that while we're at the middle section of our hair now, I'm going to use this method way more often because I feel like it does give me more volume. And the way that I structure my hair is the lower part always gets like alternating curls, and then the middle part gets mostly the curls that I do like this to give me the most volume, and then the top is going just to go away from the face. So it's all going to blend in really nicely. I'm going to show you, but that's how I do it. So yeah, again, going for this method, this is going to come up way more frequently on the middle part of my hair. So that side of my hair is now done, and now we're going to go on this side, and we're basically just going to repeat the exact same thing. But as you see, I'm basically just doing the front part away from my face, and the rest of like the middle section of my hair is all going to be like the bigger, bouncier, more Hollywood glam kind of curls. But like a very important difference that I always do is I take very big sections of hair because I find that they look more natural that way, and it's maybe not as bouncy as hers, but I just really like the look of that. So yeah, that's how I'm going to do it. Okay, so the middle part of my hair is now done, and as you can see, it kind of blends really nicely with the lower part, although I think I forgot a piece of hair right here. Quickly gonna do that. But as you can see, they just blend in so nicely together, and it just looks way more natural because you have like all those different lengths going on. So now comes the top half, and I'm just gonna put out my clip right here. I'm of course brushing my hair again, and this is literally the funniest part. Okay, so this one comes down now, and just see how it always looks so hilarious. But yeah, I'm just gonna brush this out once again, and I'm always just curling away from the face now for the top half, just to make sure that it's like falling in with the other curls really nicely, and then it's always going to look flattering and natural. So I'm just gonna take my first piece of hair, and I'm going to do way more defined sections at the top. I always have like around 3 or 4 sections depending on how much hair I have left for the top. But I'm just gonna go and curl away from the face, and as you can see, I'm kind of doing like an Elvis curl, like I'm going upwards and away from my face and then just pulling it. And that's the curl that we're getting. And don't worry, we're gonna brush all of that out in a second, but that's how we do it. And again, we're just gonna go away from the face, making our curls not so defined because we want them to blend really nicely. Same goes for the other side. Again, we're taking like the front section, doing a bit of an Elvis curl, but more to the side, and just rotate it and pull it away. That's how I get this lovely curl. Like, this is perfect. This is perfection. This is exactly how I want it to be. And same goes for the rest on this side. And as you can see, in comparison to before, now I'm taking very like small sections of hair because they're gonna be more loose. So I'm going to want them to be more defined, if that makes sense. Like, I'm creating looser curls than before, but I'm taking smaller sections so they kind of blend in with like the very like dramatic pool curls in the middle. So I think this is my last piece of hair now. So we're almost done. And yeah, that's it. So I can put my straightener away now, and this is how my hair looks right now. So what I do now is I'm going to take some hairspray. I have not used any hairspray in between, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip my entire head over and just spritz everything with the hairspray. I'm trying to show you, I hope it kind of works with my camera angles. So as you might have seen right now, I always spritz my hairspray from underneath and then crunch my curls up to make sure that they're really like lasting and that they're getting really bouncy. So I'm just gonna wait a second now and make sure everything cools down before I brush it out. Okay, so I think my hair has now completely cooled down, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start by running my fingers through it just a bit, really not too much. And then I'm just going to take my tangle teaser and kind of start by going on the ends and just subtly, like very, very gently brushing them out. And I think the tangle teaser works quite well because it's like not pulling your hair too much, and you can kind of just go a bit across everything. And just really gently doing that. So as you can see, I'm getting like a very like natural little bounce right here. Always taking my fingers to separate the hair again. And then doing the exact same thing on the other side as well, going the lower half of my hair, brushing it out, and then just very gently on the top half to make sure like it's still staying. But yeah, especially like the top layer of hair, I'm going through that a bit more. So yeah, that's basically how I brush my hair out. And once I've achieved that, I'm basically just leave it at that. I'm just gonna separate it a bit more with my fingers, put some of my hair at the back so the curls don't just fall all into one. But that's kind of it. That's how I style my hair. So once my hair looks like that, I think you're all wondering, how do I make it last so long without using an obsessive amount of hairspray? And the truth is, I just clip it. I clip it pretty much every time I'm at home and I don't need my hair to look good, and also when I go to sleep at night. So what I always do, and what I've always done for years, is I'm going to take my hair at the front, and I'm just gonna lay my head back because I want all my hair to like fall backwards like this. And then I'm just gonna take like one side of the hair and just kind of curl it like this, twist it around it, and always like in the direction that I've curled my hair. So this side is gonna go away from my face, and I'm also gonna curl this side. So now that I have that, I'm gonna secure it at the back of my head with like a little twist. So I hope that you can see this, but what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna lay it like a little bun. And then I'm also gonna do that with the other side, and I hope that you can see it. Let me turn around so that you can see. So I'm gonna throw all of my hair back, and then I'm just gonna twist it. And then I'm just gonna lay it around the other bun that I've created, so that it kind of looks like this. I'm gonna take this clip and just secure the little bun that I have created with like placing it at the top, and that's how it looks. And that's how it looks pretty much all of the time that I'm at home, and especially when I'm sleeping. So yeah, that's kind of what my boyfriend sees at night. And if I take it then out, it will just instantly fall back exactly the way I want it. And that will just preserve the curls for days and days. And if you do it like that, there's literally no chance that your curls will go out. And if you want, you can also like brush it the next morning. And then what I like to do is I'm just going to take some sections out and I'm just going to go with my fingers as if I was curling them, so that the curls get kind of more defined and they don't all blend into one. But that's kind of what I do every single day, and that way my hair lasts for days and days and I don't have to use a lot of hairspray. The only thing that you should consider is getting a clip like this or like a silk scrunchie like this to secure your hair overnight, because if you're gonna take a normal like hair bubble or a hair tie, it's gonna create like breaks and you're gonna have like weird lines in your hair. And I don't think it's that good for your hair either. So I think a clip is the best way to go if you want to preserve your curls. Or you could also go ahead and use like a silk scrunchie to make sure that, you know, they fall natural like that. So that was everything. That was my hair routine. I hope that you enjoyed today's video, and I will say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!